Hello and welcome to the Life to the Full podcast, the podcast which helps you make the most of your time here on Earth. My name's Dav Morse, I am your host for today, and today I hope to bring you some wisdom on relational health. In this podcast we like to look at 5 aspects of our health: financial health, physical health, relational health, mental health, and spiritual health. Today, the art of communication. Why is it so hard? So let's get started. You come across as arrogant. You come across as smug. You come across as unfeeling. You come across as superior. These are all things that have been said about me in various contexts, from speaking to large groups of people, speaking to small groups of people, speaking to individuals. It seems that no matter where I go, no matter who I'm talking to, I come across as arrogant, smug, unfeeling, and superior, and many more words like that. Is it my intention to come across as arrogant, smug, unfeeling, and superior? Absolutely not. But I still manage to do it. So I've spent some time recently thinking about communication. Why is it so hard? Why do people not hear the same thing as the person speaking speaks? Or why do they see things differently? When we say things, people take their own view or their own reaction to what we said, and it may not be the one that we intended. Why do people take things in a way that we didn't intend? Well, one reason is that we've all had different things go on in our lives. That means we react in different ways to different things. If I said to someone, that meal would have been nicer with a little bit more garlic, all I mean is that meal would have been a little bit nicer with a little bit more garlic. Now, some person might receive that and say, okay, yes, I agree. This meal would have been better with more garlic. I will do that next time, no problem. Some people may have had some trauma in their childhood where they never feel good enough because there's always something wrong with what they do. They've always had somebody telling them that they could have done this better, they could have done this differently, they could have done this to make things more appealing, and they never feel good enough, and they carry that into adulthood. So a simple comment, to me, it would seem like this meal could do with more garlic, turns into a massive attack on an individual. We don't know where people are coming from when we speak. So we have to consider how our words affect somebody else, how our words come across to other people. Now, like I said, we can't legislate for all responses. Different people are going to react different ways to exactly the same words, even the exact same way of saying things. I've been taught by my wife that the tone of voice when you communicate is important. So saying the same words with a different tone of voice, a gentler tone of voice, a more sensitive tone of voice, can be much more easily accepted. We can't legislate for all responses, but we can give our best shot at being clear in what we're saying. We should at least consider how our words come across to other people. We should not just assume that everybody will take the words that we speak in the way that we intend them. So how can we be better communicators? One of my goals for 2021 is to become a better communicator. I want to be able to share my ideas and have people receive my ideas and take action, and that's only going to happen if I am able to understand how people respond to what I say. So what can we do to become better communicators? Well, first of all, we really need to know our message. What are we trying to communicate? If we've got time to really consider what it is we're trying to say, then it's much more likely that we'll be able to say what we want to say and have it received in the way that we want it to be received. And the more you do that, the more practice you get, the more reps you get in, the better you become at doing that thing. And communication is no different. If you want to be a better communicator, communicate more. Take more opportunities to say what you've got to say, share your ideas, and gauge people's reaction. And if you are not very good at gauging people's reaction, like me, then ask somebody else to help you gauge what the reaction was. So if you know your message, what else can we do? Consider how your words will come across to somebody else. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. For some people, that's really easy. For some people, like me, it's really hard. It's hard to think that other people would think differently than the way that I think. But if we're going to grow as people, if we're going to get healthier relationships, then we need to consider the other person's response to what we say. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. If we do not spend time crafting our words, thinking carefully, using reckless words, then they can pierce like swords. They can really harm others, and they can harm us as well. They can harm our own reputation. But the power of the tongue as well, the power of communication, is that we can bring healing. We can bring healing to people who are suffering, to people who need encouragement, to people who are finding life difficult. We can bring healing as long as we don't come across as arrogant, smug, unfeeling, or superior. We have a responsibility to ourselves to make sure we communicate our ideas, thoughts, point of view in a way that we intend. And we have a responsibility to those who are listening to make sure we communicate our ideas, thoughts, and point of view in the way we intended. That is my encouragement to you today, dear listener. Take time to think about the way that you speak, the way that you communicate. Ask people for feedback. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to those around you and those that listen. That's it for today. Hope you'll join me next time. Peace out.